Well, hello everyone, you joined us for the New Horizon Reward Ceremony. Yeah. In the background, you've just got all the drivers going around at the track in a 25% race around Britain. And actually, I'm enjoyed by all the drivers here. Everyone say hi.
This is why we all say hi. Suck a bit.
Well, that's
you
that's
where
everyone.
you swear? Why don't shut as soon as we're supposed to talk, we all go quiet.
It's like that in the GP2 post interviews.
Anyway, I said this is the reward ceremony, so I'll take you to your main host reward ceremony. Connor, you have the floor.
Yeah, that's alright, cheers Gamey. If you could just, throughout this little videos, you're basically cameraman duties. Yeah, we've got over 30 awards to hand out tonight, some a little bit silly and some quite serious. So I'll get around to that as soon as I stop the formation lap, because I've made a little bit of a issue with myself. I should be like spectating, and for some reason I'm driving, so I'm an absolute moron. Let's go through the first award when my notes bloody load.
Perhaps make sure the awards spread out throughout the course of this thing, okay?
Yeah, I mean overall it should take about 25 minutes, half hour. Come on, and my phone's actually playing up now. This is really annoying. First awards, I should say, is going to be announcing who's got the top 3 in the standings, and third, having missed out the last couple of races of the season, was Psycho Mitch, who's now entitled to the £35 PlayStation voucher. Round of applause.
I've started this race in 7 seconds.
Who the hell was that? I'm more annoyed that Ben's really out-qualified me in this little race. Right, I'm just going to pull off to the side somewhere and go into AI mode. Right, second place, the man that actually was sceptical of racing for the end of the season, Luke Beck, is now entitled to £50 PlayStation voucher and a 3-month PlayStation Plus pass.
I'll do it myself then.
Yay! Right, what the hell?
That was gifted by me.
I'll give you a...
All that time was.
And the first place award going to the champion with a £70 PlayStation voucher and 6 months PlayStation Plus and an engraved trophy. Give it up to me. Right now, moving on to the next award, the Fastest Lap Award. This one is one of the few cash prizes throughout the season, which is entitled to a £20 PlayStation Plus voucher. But what I've decided to do is try and go through all the fastest laps of the season, because obviously I needed to count them up. So I'm going to go through them in reverse order, with joint, what looks like 5th place. No, joint 4th place actually. Collins getting 1 fastest lap in round 1 in Australia. Psycho getting fastest lap in Bahrain. And Meaty Soldier getting fastest lap in China. And F1 Sophie getting fastest lap when we headed to Baku. Esfar Linel got the fastest lap in Belgium, and Orchard Socks got the fastest lap in Mexico, and Alco got the fastest lap in Abu Dhabi. And then it goes to Luke Beck, who had 2 fastest laps in Monaco and Brazil. Second place driver for the fastest laps was T. Jonas with 5 at Spain, France, Austria, Italy and Singapore. And then the fastest lap award of season 2 goes to Connor Sechel 17, who got 7 fastest laps in Canada, Great Britain, Germany, Hungary, Russia, Japan and USA.
Ooh.
Yeah, cheers guys.
I was the only one that clapped for working.
I couldn't clap, I was in the corner.
Oh, fair enough.
Moving on.
2-second time penalty.
Moving on to the next award, which is the Hot Seat Award. This goes to the driver that's had the most changes of team throughout the season. And for Season 2, this award is actually shared between two drivers. Luke Beck, having started the season at Haas, then moving to Renault, then heading to Sauber, then back to Renault. And is shared with Alco, who started with Red Bull, who then moved to Williams, then went to Force India for a race, and then back to Williams. Sorry, he did one stint at Williams, and then after Force India, he headed to Ferrari. Moving on to the next award of the night. Oh, he only moved like twice. The next award, the Thorn in My Backside Award. This award goes to the driver in the championship standings, who, despite the amount of times people have tried to catch him, he has failed to move regardless of wherever he finished on the grid. The Thorn in My Backside Award for Season 2 goes to Psycho Mitch. Heading on to the next award, the Crybaby Award. This award goes to the person who has been complaining the most in the New Horizons chat on PlayStation. This award can only go into one driver who has been voicing his opinions very vocally and emotionally. Psycho Mitch, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Poor geezer.
Now, heading into quote of the season, there's been a few little remarks made by the drivers that have been pretty standout moments from myself, as these quotes have stuck with me for quite a while. I think the first nomination for quote of the season was at Silverstone from myself when I was battling with Luke Beck, and the close battle, I screamed down game chat, "He's so close to me, I can feel him entering my behind."
Which never happened.
I don't believe you.
I think you wish, but I mean, there was literally a banana between us at times. The second nomination goes to Slav King Robo, who made quite a cheeky remark due to the fact that the league is named after a space probe that's heading out past the Kuiper Belt, and during my happy time at the European rounds, I was like, look how far we've come in 6 months. Where was New Horizons 6 months ago? And the cheeky lad had the nerve to say, I think we were heading past Pluto. The third quote of the season, probably one of my favourites that I've seen throughout commentary, all the way through Season 2, is from Gamey Things.
Wait,
Hashtag main fight has been on my mind since the moment you said it.
Wait, what did I say?
Hashtag main fight.
I don't think I've ever said that, did I?
Oh mate, you've said it for at least half the races in the season.
I don't think I've ever said hashtag.
Yep, you said hashtag main fight in Hungary, Germany, Spa, Silverstone and Singapore, at least.
I gotta look at back here, because I'm
the-
pretty sure I've never have.
Oh, good luck. Well, you've got about 21 hours of footage at least to go and look back on, so good luck with that.
Just tell me
hear
one
back
race
from
I
you
did.
by next week. Oh, mate, it was definitely in Silverstone.
Look at that.
And the final nomination for quote of the season goes to Tadpoles for him having his debut race with us in Canada and not actually driven an F1 car before. His habit of driving GT3 cars, he is normally used to seeing out the window. So when he drives the F1 car for the first time, the halo's in the way, he kept complaining that he could not see through his flip-flop.
Wow.
So the winner for quote of the season goes to Tadpoles.
And he's not here at the moment to do the award.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a pretty much full lobby anyway. Someone passed the message on to him. The next award is the Pulling Out Award. This award goes to the driver that has failed to commit to most of the races of the season, despite having earlier conversations of these promises being made of turning up. The nominations for these guys are Old, RTY91, Marshy 670, One Shot, and C. Pasley. And the person who wins the Pulling Out Award goes to Old, so if someone can get hold of him and pass it on to him.
Yeah, I'll pop it on.
The Passive Award. This award goes to the driver in the driver's standings that has retained pretty much the same championship position, despite the fact of hardly ever turning up.
Oh, it's only one person there.
I'll go.
I think you could all guess the main man for this award, and it is the lad, main man Alco, who wins the Passive Award for season 2.
That's so niche. Is he still in 10th now?
I think he's in 9th. After winning in Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah, he turned up in Abu Dhabi, didn't he? Legend.
The Championship Battle Award, this goes to the two drivers that have been at each other's throats trying to overtake each other constantly throughout the course of the season. Realistically, there's only 2 people that are up for the nomination for this award, which is Robot versus Meaty and Collins versus Psycho. The Championship Battle Award goes to Collins, and Psycho, despite having Collins tried his hardest, was never really within a chance of overtaking the man who finished the season in 3rd place.
Yes.
Right.
He's ahead of me now.
Oh god, I don't think he's ahead of you now.
On
He
track.
might be on track. I'm not looking at the track at the minute, and what's that? The Best Looking Helmet Award. This award goes to not necessarily the helmet that matches the car, but has overall the nicest looking helmet in my personal opinion on the grid. This award goes to Leroy Farmer.
I've not looked at
Yeah, I'm not looking at it either.
it. I'll have to look at it.
It was an award that was made at pretty much last minute, and there's only so many awards I can...
So I'll take your word for it.
Fair enough, and heading on to the next award, which is I've seen go-karts go quicker than this award, which is nominated for 2 drivers that have consistently turned up to races that have been off the pace so badly. I think you can get a go-kart around the Nürburgring quicker than you can of getting a Red Bull or a Sauber around Monaco. So I've seen go-karts go quicker than this award goes to Tadpoles, which is kind of the nicest way of saying you are the slowest driver on the grid. But with all due respect, he has only just got the game this season.
He has improved massively.
Yeah, he's getting there, so I think Deranged might have a bit of competition heading into season 3. The next award, going for the next award, which is the most penalised driver. This award does not include in-game penalties at the end of races. This award goes to the drivers that have been penalised the most by stewards' inquiries. The nominations for these drivers are It's Adam, after his reckless driving in Canada, Collins having been given a double race ban for his horrendous driving in Mexico, and Slav King for being constantly a bit of a... for being just a little bit more of a pain than is tolerable throughout the course of the season. So, having said that, the is actually implemented goes to Slav King over the course of the season. Now,
Coming, Ben, or no?
Happy that I got a award. Yay.
this award is the most victimization award. The driver that has complained the most about drivers on the grid and has failed to succeed in many of his appeals because he was like, it was never my fault. So the nominate. The nominations for this award goes to Lord JB and Slav King for their it's the Canadian Grand Prix. Lord JB and One Shot for their on-track actions in Belgium. Lord JB and Prodigy for the constant lapping issues, and Lord JB and Collins for pretty much the same reason. So the most
drivers.
the most victimized driver of season 2 goes to Lord JB 13.
That is no surprise.
I just hope he don't see this. If he does, it's all in the name of banter, mate. I've got no issues with you, although I do have professional issues with other things. Heading on to the next award, which is the Stupidest Conspiracy of the Season award. This award is related to multiple events throughout the season that have... It's basically been a lot of social bashing between some of the drivers where they think they've had it out for each other, but it's all just been a case of hot air. Conspiracy nomination number 1 has been Slav King and Lord JB 13, because ever since Canada through Singapore, JB was adamant that Slav King had something out for him. We looked into it and it was just a bit of banter taken way out of context. Stupidest conspiracy number 2. For some reason I've got down on my notes is that Collins had something out for psychometry around the Spanish Grand Prix.
There was
Actually, looking second.
bit of chat beef, wasn't there?
Bit of chat beef that ended up with one of you being very upset. I'm not going to say which one.
Like I mentioned, I think he was upset.
I cried into my
There's a
pillow.
difference between being upset and butthurt, that's all I'm going to say about it. Conspiracy number 3 is something to do with Sauber really wanting to overtake. There's been ghost chats about bashing between some of the slowest drivers on the grid. Been hot air in my opinion. And is the Mercedes versus Force India day where allegedly I told my teammate to let alone the fact that's clear of them anyway, and all I needed to do to claim the title was to win the race. The winner of the stupidest conspiracy of the season goes to the Mercedes team at the US Grand Prix.
That's all
apparently
expecting that.
apparently fixing a title that was going to be pretty much wrapped up at the end of the race anyway. It was probably one of the most strangest things I've ever heard from anyone in league racing. And I think we've got more. Then there's got to be more evidence for the flat Earth than there is for that conspiracy actually happening. Heading into the next award, the unluckiest driver who has had probably the worst luck throughout the course of the season, despite the hardest to actually finish the race. Nominations for this award are Deranged 420, One Shot, Tadpoles, and Collins. The unluckiest driver of season 2 goes to Collins for his monumental New Horizons record of 18 out of 21 DNFs in a season.
Was it holy Jesus.
You have made Mercedes go bankrupt. Well done.
All we're getting paid now is selling cheeseburgers.
Despite the fact that the only times he finished a race, he had 2 podium places and a 7th place. Actually, I don't have the notes to say where that 7th place was from, but I believe it was halfway through the season. Heading on to the next award, Cock Up of the Season, the Golden Cock Award. Nominations for this. Nomination number 1. Collins and Luke Beck for China, for Collins failing to move out the way sufficiently the hairpin reason forcing Luke Beck off the track, which was
Let's not bring that one up
the,
ever again.
On the blue flags.
yeah, one of the most bizarre things I've probably come across in the season.
Yeah. I didn't realise, I thought team orders were coming in next season, not this season.
Whoa, who said that?
Well, luckily for Mercedes this season, team orders have been an issue. Language. Cock-up nomination number 2 does go to Tadpoles for crashing that many times in Singapore. Sauber ran out of enough intermediate tyres to give him, to the point they had to send him out on dries.
Legend.
Cock-up of the season number 3 goes to myself for failing to set the formation lap in Germany and causing chaos on the first lap.
Oh, that was entertaining.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Or some it wasn't.
And cock-up of the season nomination number 4 goes to Meaty Soldier for rapidly coming into the pits in Hungary and failing to select his hard compound tyres and coming out on intermediate.
Did that make him DNF as well?
Tadpole's been
Yes.
DNF'd.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe he did actually DNF from the race because, yeah, there's no coming back from when you're halfway through the field and you are coming out on intermediate tyres in a dry race. So the Golden Cock Award for Season 2 goes to Conor Setchel 17 for failing to set the formation lap in Germany and causing chaos for everyone on lap 1. Which again, to this day, I hugely apologise.
Yes, deserved winner.
If you say so. The next award, slightly more serious awards now, heading into Race of the Season. What is the best race we've had so well, I would say so far, but the season's over. Nominations for this were Bahrain, Silverstone, Mexico and Abu Dhabi. Race of the Season goes to Bahrain. Despite the fact of having very low numbers, there was a constant battle all over the grid until there was a slight controversial moment with Collins spinning and taking out our resident Portuguese driver. Heading on to Crash of the Season. Right. First nomination for that, also being included in Race of the Season, Collins having span at the corner of auto spins in Bahrain, reversing into the racing line and what looks like crashing out Alco, apparently on purpose, but no, that was a pretty huge jump when he backed into the Red Bull and the Mercedes left the ground. Crash of the Season nomination number 2 goes to Spa Start. Having gotten through turn 1, there was most of the drivers were involved in heavy collisions all the way down into Eau Rouge. Crash of the Season nomination number 3 is Russia, lap 1, turn 1, when about 80% of the grid were involved in heavy collisions. And nomination number 4 goes to myself and Slav King for crashing out at the same corner at the same time at Monza in the wet. The Crash of the Season, the most devastating impact for most of the cars, goes to Spa at turn 1, after there was a huge amount of carnage heading down the grid. And now,
Congratulations, Spa.
moment of the season. This award is going to probably what I think defines the season as a whole. There's only one winner for this, because I believe just the whole event of the top 3 battling out at Silverstone, with chasing down the Force India and me and Luke Beck going wheel to wheel for most of the race. And running on to another controversial award now. Most controversial moment of the season. I don't have many nominations for this, since most of them already fit into the other controversial, stupidest conspiracies. But I think it's probably going down to agree on a suitable penalty after our alleged collision in Germany, which is a highly alleged collision.
It's a highly denied collision.
Highly alleged, that collision. In my opinion, did not happen. I look behind me, there's a Ferrari spinning on the grass.
That's because there was a Mercedes too far back. Boom. Pushed me on the grass. Love it. But we're over that. Let's
Moving
move
on.
Before we... Oh, yeah. Don't, you're bringing back memories, mate. I can't deal with it.
Oh, don't, he's going to relapse now. Hold on.
I may relapse. You don't want that.
I don't cry, mate.
Day.
This is going on a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, it's time to speed up.
Heading on to overtake of the season now. There was a few good overtakes right at the end of the season. I couldn't really narrow it down from about 20, but the overtake of the season for me was in Sector 3 at China, when I overtook Season 1 champion Tekken Chiroga, who kept complaining of his tyres overheating, but emotionally I think that meant a lot for me and a few of the drivers on the grid, despite of him boasting of how he was going to wipe the floor with all of us this season, and I don't even think he ended up getting on the podium.
Connor,
So, what?
can I butt in just quickly?
Harley,
for it.
5 lapper.
Can I put a nomination in for moment of the season? And I think
Go for
everyone
it.
here will agree.
Go for it.
Australia, Tekken, DRS zone, Sector 3, lap 1.
Oh no, you've just reminded me of how I was, I don't want to say it, of how emotional I was after winning in Australia.
Can you remember when he was giving it Billy Big Balls and he just ended up in the wall?
Yeah.
Lap 1.
That was probably... No, it's probably the biggest slap in the face in terms of sporting terms, because I was just happy with the earliest part of that season. Tekken was just being brought down so back to earth after, and still, moment of the season still for me, it was just the whole battling between the three teams through Silverstone. But in terms of overtake of the season, it meant so much to me just to be able to overtake him, and it was clean, and I was just basically showing him up. I think we all did a pretty good job of showing Tekken up. Right, heading on to Shock Podium Award. This award goes to the driver that was least likely to get a podium throughout the season. Nominations are Tadpoles, Slav King, and Collins. The Shock Podium Award goes to Tadpoles for securing 3rd place after the red-flagged Brazilian Grand Prix, which I'm still annoyed because I finished 4th. And now,
Well done, son, well done.
heading into Shock Win of the award, the most unlikeliest driver we thought was going to win a race this season. Nominations for this award are myself, Collins, Luke Beck, and Alco.
Never shocked I won anything.
I think a few of us were still shocked of the sheer... I can't even have words for this, but the award goes to Collins for winning the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Alright, yeah, hands down.
Best driver pairing. This is going to the most successful and most consistent driver pair of Season 2.
That's
And
Mercedes out then.
so yeah, it's Ferrari out as well, mate. At least we turn up to the races. The best driver pairing of Season 2 goes to the Force India boys, who had 5 consecutive 1-2s throughout the European leg of Season 2. And now heading into best on-track battle. Is a few nominations for some of the best battling I've seen on track. Nomination number 1 is Silverstone, JB13 versus myself versus Luke Beck, and USA, myself versus Luke Beck, and again in Silverstone, Psycho Mitch versus Black Prodigy, and oh, I've got the bloody race for this now. Robot versus Collins. I believe that was at Hungary.
No, we never. I think it might have been at Silverstone because we were wheel to wheel quite a lot there.
Yeah, I think it was. Sorry, yeah, that was also. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I think the Silverstone was one of the best races we've had.
Hungary,
But,
I was having fun as well for our race.
The best battle on track, in everyone's opinion, i.e. mine, goes to JB, myself, and Luke Beck for probably the longest battle throughout the race at Silverstone.
Yeah, I'll give you on that one.
Yeah, sure.
Heading into probably some of the most important awards of the season so far. Let's have a look at Most Improved Driver. These are the only drivers eligible that have taken part in Season 1, coming into Season 2. Most Improved Drivers nominations are for myself, being second in Season 1 and claiming the championship in Season 2. Collins, just for the fact that he was able to win a race.
That's disrespectful.
Nomination number 3, it goes to Meaty Soldier for scoring very few points in Season 1 in his short time, but actually seeing out most of the season, and he's not done that well to get us over 100 points, so I think that's really well done for him being that consistent. And Leroy Farmer, who on his debut at Austria Season 1 came 9th. And in coming into Season 2, not only is he absolutely rapid, but he ends up winning the Mexican Grand Prix. So the Most Improved Driver, this is the inaugural award, goes to Leroy Farmer, having a completely spectacular boost of performance compared to when you first joined us.
Well
Now
done.
we're kind of the opposite end of the scale for Rookie of the Year. This award goes to the only drivers that have taken part in Season 2. Nominations for this award are, I believe we might get a bit of stick for this. First nomination is Slav King. Second nomination goes to Lord J13 for his multiple wins this season. Nomination number 3 goes to Tijonis 18 for his mighty pace and consistency coming into the season.
Who was that, sorry? I missed it.
Tijonis.
Right.
And nomination number 4 goes to Black Prodigy. Despite being halfway around the world, has actually, in this short time with us, has scored a very good handful of points, despite the lack of races that he participated in. But the Season 2 Rookie of the Year award goes to Tijonis, so I'll have to send someone over to let him know that he is the best driver coming into this season. Now we're heading into probably the most controversial award of the season. For moderation purposes, I've actually decided to call this the Infamy Award, the most infamous driver on the grid. You know the award is actually the D-Head Award.
Oh yeah, that
Well
one.
done, man. Well done, mate.
No, I think it's you, Psycho.
It's a
I
close
think
one.
Calm down, lad. Nominations for this award are: it's Adam for backing out of the Canadian Grand Prix, and when his car was in AI mode, it actually collided with 3 other cars and having to make another 2 take evasive action, despite the fact of quitting the race and his lack of a dedication to the league for Season 2. He left the lead of the race in Canada to go and play PUBG.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
Nomination number 2 is the Season 1 champion, Tekken True Ogre, for crashing into Psychomich in Monaco, which is probably the most vile thing I've ever seen in league racing. Nomination number 3 goes to Icebolt for his absolute disgraceful attitude in races and on track and off track, as well as very personal remarks made about me and my parenting skills. And nomination number 4, Slav King, for getting into multiple incidents with every single driver throughout the season.
That's quite a Psycho's not on it for quite
Is
a
there
few
any other
drivers out.
nominations?
Nominations for this award, if anything, you guys might think you're spoiled for choice, but the award for the Infamy Award goes to Icebolt because of how disgraceful and I don't even really want to talk about it. But there.
Ben,
fair
bad
enough.
luck, mate. I thought you had that in the bag.
No, I thought it was going to be you because you always call out drivers.
No nomination, mate.
Fair enough. Connor, do you
least I
mind
don't get the
speeding
viral
up
ones.
with these awards? I'm running low on time to upload here.
Well, but by the looks of it, I think Crybaby for Season 3 is set in stone right now, so Slav King, you might end up having another award before Season 3 even starts. Right, I need to look at this really quickly. Right, we've got one last award to get through, which is Driver of the Year. This is the last award that is awarded with a £20 PlayStation voucher.
Well done, Luke, lad.
I think there's very few drivers, if anything, that's actually been between 2 drivers, in my opinion. It could have been between 4 if the 2 Force India lads would have actually stuck out the season. But nominations for Driver of the Year, Season 3. Alco and Luke Beck. New Horizons Racing League, Division 1, Season 2. Award goes to Luke Beck. Congratulations.
Well done, Luke. Have my last year's trophy, my friend.
It's an honour to take it off you.
That's right, mate. It's an honour to pass it on.
Much love.
Are you sure, bro?
So that's all the awards gotten through now. The guys that are eligible for cash prizes, I'll get the code sent out to you tomorrow. I've had a very busy week and I've been working mornings and I can't go shopping at 7 in the evening when I've been waking up. So I'll be contacting you guys directly through DMs, and while you guys enjoy your little cash prizes, me and Collins are going to go trophy shopping.
For your own trophy.
What do you mean we're a trophy? At least I've bloody earned it. Right.
Doesn't stop retirement coming.
Right, Luke, just for the sake of this, I want you to pull alongside me. We're going to go to the run-up at the source, and make sure your traction control's turned off.
Oh, I'm always prepared for donuts. Don't worry about that.
Let's end this and awards
Cheers,
down with
Richard.
donuts.
Oh god, that's
So glad the
Oh
run-up
my
takes up,
god.
Can we have the
I need to head back up the hill. I need more run-off than this.
could we have a change on one of those awards of
Oh, for
F
God's sake, I've just been disqualified.
Yeah, can we change the fuck up to Ben now, please?
Yeah.
Oh, you should bring little colours.
I hope you guys have had fun tonight. Gaming, could
That's
you
a donut, boys.
I'll end it here, don't worry.
Anything a good Ferraris are good at.
Also, good at electronic failures.
I'll end up now. Can you guys be
Yeah,
quiet whilst I
Gaming,
end?
could you sign us out? It's been a really good season. I really appreciate all you guys turning up tonight. Yeah, so we've still got Division 2 races on Thursdays, about a third of the way through their season. We have a set date for Le Mans, which will be on the 29th of June. So if you're interested, please get in touch about that. So, Gamey, do you want to lead us out?
Fair enough. Well, that's been a pretty high up award ceremony, hasn't it? Especially the actual F up there, but we're not going to gloss over that too much. Well, you heard Connor. The next time you see us on track should be at Le Mans. But in terms of this league, and the next time you'll see us on this track, is actually in the next game, which, to be fair, looks very good. I've been your host, Game Things, and see you in the next game.